Hi everyone, today we're going to be learning how to do the Pekinese stitch. This stitch is really nice for outlining stuff, creating a really full, straight or curved line to add texture to your birds or projects, whatever you have that you're making. And it's also really simple. The base of the stitch is actually a back stitch. So technique wise, it's definitely not challenging, and it just involves some weaving. So first and foremost, I have my two threads here today. They're both pearl cotton, our WonderFil Eleganza in the number 8 weight. So this is going to be a little bit thinner compared to our number 5 and our number 3, but they stitch out really wonderfully, and you can always switch out the weights and use different weights together when you're playing with stitches like this that incorporate two threads. So first I'm going to grab my backstitch thread. So I'll be using this pink color right here. And I'm just going to start with the backstitch. We do have another video covering how to do a backstitch. So if any of you are curious, you can take a look at that, or you can kind of see what I'm doing here. From the start point, I just take a little tiny bite forward, and then I go back. And then again, I go forward a bit, and then I go back. So typically when I'm doing this Pekinese stitch, I like to do pretty small back stitches just because you get to do a little bit more weaving in a certain amount of space versus having long back stitches. The short back stitches can give you a bit of a fuller look, but of course that can depend on what you're going for. Sometimes you want a little bit of a looser open look, and you can of course do longer back stitches. So here I'm just going to finish this line. So now that we have our straight line that's done with a back stitch, we can move on to our weaving section of this Pekinese stitch. This is the length of thread that I cut, and it's already threaded through the needle. As a side note, I typically cut my thread from the tip of my finger to my shoulder, and that's as long as I'll really go to prevent straining or overstretching, because you are doing repetitive motions. I wouldn't go too much longer than that, and it also helps prevent knots, so you don't really want a very long thread. Sometimes I'll cut it shorter if I know I don't need a lot of thread, but that is just kind of a little hint right there. So first we're going to be working from right to left. I'm just going to be coming underneath this second stitch here from the right, and it's almost going to look like it's popping out from under the middle of this second stitch. So let me just get, oops, like right there. I'm just going to pull through. Then using the back of your needle, you're going to go underneath your first stitch like this. And before we do any weaving, this is just how we get started. We're going to use the back of the needle again and go through the third stitch here, like so. And then we're ready to begin the stitch. So we're going to go back under the second stitch with the back of our needle. You're wanting to go under the pink stitch here, the pink thread here, and over the orange thread here. So it requires a little bit of finagling. There we go. And again, you can adjust the tension of your stitch by pulling it however you want to get either a loopier look or a less loopy look. So there's your first Pekinese stitch. We're going to bring this over again. It's going to go under here. And then we're going to push it back up through under the pink thread and over your orange thread like that. And a lot of times I'll use the back of my needle to adjust how loopy or tight a stitch might be after it's done. So there, I'm just going to tighten it a little bit there. And then we're going to use the back of the needle again, do the next stitch here. We're going to go underneath the next pink stitch here, and we're going to go underneath the previous one, but over this orange thread here that we're working with. So under the pink, over the orange. We're just going to pull it, kind of play with the tension a bit. There we go. And you just make your way down the line by going under, under, and then over. There we go. And I'm just kind of playing with the loopies as I go on. So again, under, and then we go under the pink stitch again here, but then over that orange thread. This one always kind of takes me an extra moment to think about where my threads are going in order to get the achieved look. So definitely practice. So under this pink thread there, under here, and over. There we go. So I've completed the rest of the line using this Pekinese stitch. You can see I kind of went with varying tightnesses. I went a little bit tighter in the front and a little bit looser on the end there, and it creates a really nice dimensional thick line that gives you a bit of a highlight if you want to use a different colored thread. But this is a really fun thread to outline your projects with, or again, add some texture. I'll hold it up in different angles so you can kind of see how the thread is elevated off. Not too difficult, it just definitely takes some practice. So I hope you all have fun with that. Thank you, bye.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more great tips, tricks, and tutorials. You can also sign up for our weekly newsletter to get the first look at free projects, sewing tips, and inspiring tutorials delivered right to your inbox. Check out the description box below to sign up, as well as find a list of stores and retailers that you can purchase WonderFil threads from in your country.